Well, hello there and good evening, and welcome to this live stream event, Errol TV. I'm really grateful for those that are attending. And this week's topic and subject is one of the dearest ones to my heart, and it's the intuition, awakening your intuition. And through the duration of this 1 hour live stream, I'm going to be sharing with you my own experiences with developing intuition, my own experiences with using it, and experiences also with how it can help you in your day-to-day life and many other things that you um, maybe perhaps are struggling with at the moment in terms of needing some understanding or wisdom or sort of deep inner insight into certain things and you haven't got it. And this is when you can really access the intuition and start using it. So I'm going to start off, as I've mentioned, I'm very grateful for being able to live stream and be able to share. And it's very important for me to be sharing, actually, because uh, there's there is such a need for people to sort of awaken to a much deeper place, a much deeper understanding of themselves. And this does require an activation of the inner senses. We all have our outer senses that we sort of see, we hear, we smell, we taste, we feel our way through life. And yet the inner senses, which are hugely important, are quite often left on the back burner. And not only are they left on the back burner, we also attach a level of doubt or mistrust. And when we do this, we're actually reflecting our own self-doubt and mistrust in our own abilities or our own strengths. So it's not just about using your intuition. What is intuition and how to use it? It goes deeper than that. When you start using your intuition, you are in need of trusting the unknown, trusting that the messages or information that's coming through is pure or is for your benefit, rather than picking up on fears and not knowing uh, which insights to sort of follow up on and which insights not to. And so there's this mistrust. And from my perspective, in the years that I've not only been using my own intuition but also helping others and sort of certifying over 1,000 students, I believe, over the past decade plus in intuitive work, I found that it's a very important um, tool to use. And as I said, coupling that is the need to trust yourself, the need to really understand that the insights that are coming through you, and in the journey of it coming through you is your journey to trusting more, to trusting yourself, trusting the universe, and it's also your journey to um, release levels of self-doubt that you have. So it's a multi-layered journey, activating your intuition. So before I continue, I'd just like to put out there that I'm going to be answering questions. I absolutely love answering questions. So please type in your intuition, about activating your intuition, or perhaps your intuition is already activated and you have some concerns, or you have some questions about your abilities or your inabilities, or whatever you perceive is going on for yourself. And please write them, message them in the feed to the side. I'm very, very happy to answer them. And hopefully I can do so throughout the duration of the hour that we're together. Now, the four main intuitive centers, that there are many, but I'd like to focus on the four main, and this is the intuitive centers that allow us to um, gain a lot of insight that perhaps we wouldn't know, or that we wouldn't be able to sort of see or feel or hear in sort of normal world and sort of the normal reality that we live in. So I'd just like to start off with the claircognizance intuitive center, which is at the top of the head, the crown. And claircognizance gives us the ability to know things that we wouldn't necessarily know, that we know no way of us actually knowing something. And the information can start pouring through that we would not have known. No way we would have known anything. And this is called claircognizance. And when this is open, it gives us the ability to have sort of like premonitions, sort of flashes of things that are to come, or things in someone's past that you just sort of picked up on. If you were scanning or with someone, or talking to someone, suddenly you get a flash of them in another life, or or their childhood, or something that's going on for them. Now, I'd like to move downwards into the third eye. It's one of the most popular or well-known intuitive centers, and this is clairvoyance, our ability to see, clairvoyance. And this particular area here gives us the ability to sort of see images, that we're able to observe energy. When you understand, in essence, that everything around you is energy and vibration at different speeds, you'll begin to be able to use or fine-tune these intuitive centers to pick up energy in a certain way or in a certain format that then translates itself into you being able to understand what it is. So perhaps one of your intuitive centers sees a blob, or a energy mass, or a color, or a cloud, and you have no idea what that is. And most often people just leave that as it is. I just see or sense that there's this cloud or a mist, and I have no idea what it is, and I'll just move on. And this is where it starts getting really interesting, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, how you can start converting or transforming what it is you're seeing into something that you are able to understand. So I'd like to move downwards a little bit to the clairaudience, and this is your ability to hear, to have voices, or maybe hear a voice, maybe hear a word, something that suddenly guides you, something, a word that says turn right, or a word that says yes or no, and it's just this inner knowing and this other voice in your head. This can also be used for channeling, if you are a channeler, or you're a person that channels information or speaks to other realms, or spirits, or angels, or whatever it is that you do, or that you have done. Then this area here is where you get the audio version of information coming in. And then I'd like to go downwards into the body, into the stomach area, which is where your clairsentience is, sort of the stomach area. This is the area of feeling, so your inner feeling when you sense something. And these are areas, these four main areas are intuitive centers that you may already be using, but perhaps you're unaware. For sure, you've been in a situation where you've walked into a room, or you've walked into a certain place, and you can sense that somebody is either very, very happy, or you can sense that they are down, or you can sense that they are angry without even going near them. You sense the energy. This is your clairsentience kicking in. This is your ability to feel and understand what's going on for the person. This is a very a beautiful intuitive sense to have. The clairsentience is the ability to sort of feel what's going on for another person, and couple this with empathy, couple it even further and higher up the scale with compassion, and you can intuitively feel what a person is going through, have empathy for them, but then scale it up and have compassion for that person because they're going through something in their lives. So this is in terms of using it for another person that you may be either working with, or that you're sort of in a friendship with, or you're interacting with it in some ways. So these are the four main centers: the claircognizance, clairvoyance, audience, and lower down is the clairsentience. Now not all of us have all four centers activated. Some people may only have one. Some people may only sort of see, or maybe only hear, or have these premonitions of things, and see into the future, or feel into the future, or have this perception of something's happening, or has happened, or is going to happen. And then the feelings that you have, there's a feeling of not feeling right in a particular house or in a particular road, or you sense things through your clairsentience. Now, these are all intuitive centers that you may already be using, just you haven't perhaps understood them, or maybe that you are using them already, and perhaps you're tapping into this. You joined us in this call to perhaps fine-tune them. So I'm going to give you a few ways of how to fine-tune these arenas, and this is covered actually in much greater detail in the intuitive energy anatomy section in my Spiritual Awakening Academy, where we have a whole module focused on intuition and energy fields. So what I'd like to share with you in this hour that we have together is how to actually start tuning in. And from my perspective, from my own experience, when it comes to intuition, when we are seeking or actively leaning in to attempt to hear something, or gain wisdom, or gain something that we're looking for, that intuitive flow of information to come in, when we sort of lean into it, when we're expecting it and wanting it, in my own experience, it feels like it's being pushed away when we do that. From my experience, when we lean back and surrender into the moment, when we surrender into the moment, we haven't got this expectation, which can also act as a wall, that we're expecting something, we are wanting something. Therefore, the energy is that we're lacking something, and this can then feed out there into the we're lacking something, therefore we want something. So my suggestion here is to really lean back in and surrender into just allowing it to come in, just allowing the information. So perhaps you do have a focus on seeing something more, or seeing someone's energy, or using your claircognizance or your clairvoyance together to attempt to see something that's going to happen for you in the future, based on where you are right now. So perhaps you're doing this exercise on yourself to sort of gain some understanding of what's going to happen, and there you are leaning in, trying to look at what's going to happen, and the leaning in actually feels like it pushes it away. So you're much better off really having a clear intention in the beginning, and let it be clear, let it be a very clear intention, not dualistic. And when I say not dualistic, don't be so caught up in an outcome. The more neutral you are to information coming in, the more you'll allow the information to come in its purest form. Let's see if I can say that in a different way, more sort of simplistic way. When we are eager for a particular result, we're only going to be looking for that. So our intention is going to be very focused and limited on something that we want to see. We actually already know the information that we want, and we're looking for it. Versus understanding that there perhaps is something that you want to see, or there's an outcome that you want. However, you are open to receiving information to exactly how it is right now, for whatever is going on for you, whatever sort of vibrational projections going on from you. You're open to whatever's coming in. Now, in that particular instance, when you lean back and you allow the information to come in, rather than force it or lean into it, you're going to be in a much better position to receive intuition or receive intuitive information, because you're letting it flow without structured limitations, without these blocks or blinkers that you only want a particular information to come through. When you just let go and just know that whatever's going to come through is whatever needs to come through for you right now, what you're doing is you're you're going into more of a surrender mode, and you're also igniting the levels of trust, that you're trusting whatever information comes through is for your highest and best. So you're flexing the trust muscle, and it's very important to flex the trust muscle. I'll go on to trust a little bit more further down the line in this call. So my advice here is to lean back and surrender, just let go and let the information come to you. What will happen is you may reach a deeper sense of presence, like a meditative state. Your brain waves will get into a place where you're much more open for information to come through, rather than the mind being in this doing mode, looking for something intuitively, but you're in a brain wave that's potentially blocking a lot of things. So by surrendering and just really clearing the mind, clearing your intentions, and just say whatever comes through is for my highest and best, and perhaps for the highest and best of the other person, perhaps that you're working with, or whether this exercise is for yourself, then just allow that information to come through. Now, that being said, when you are looking for a vision, or you're looking for a particular information to come through clairvoyance, or you're wanting to hear an audio or words to come through, or you're wanting to feel something, or you're wanting to sort of know something that's going on in claircognizance, it's important to understand that you could also have all of these switched on at the same time, where you can have a inner knowing about something, seeing, hearing, and feeling at the same time. And I would openly suggest that you practiced focusing on all areas, all intuitive centers, and allow them to open naturally, allow them just to be able to express themselves. It's very important for your intuitive centers to be able to express and receive. So receive information that acts as a channel. Here's energy, and here's information, and suddenly it comes through the intuitive centers, and suddenly it goes into your system, and somehow you're going to translate that into an understanding of what you've just seen. So something I said earlier on about receiving information, quite often in my experience, when people are just starting out, or even when people are using their intuition, but they come up against a block, that they see something, they don't know what it is, and they just move on. Here's where ferocious curiosity really plays a huge part. If you don't know what it is that you're seeing, there's a mist or whatever, there's a color, you have no idea what the color is, suddenly you're on Google searching for what does the color blue mean, or what does turquoise mean, and so suddenly you've come out of yourself and you go into the doing mode. This is precisely the sort of not what to do. In these moments, here is some information being presented to you, and in this format the information is being presented as the color turquoise or blue, whatever it is. So rather than not know, sit with it, be with it. This has multiple benefits. One is that you're learning patience. You're also learning to surrender and let go and lay back into receiving information. You're also learning to fine-tune how you tune in to the mist or the color or whatever it is that's come up around you or around another person. And it will start giving you the ability to ask specific questions. Here's the mist, here's the color, here's the shade of energy around a person or around yourself, or around your arm or whatever. What does this mean? And ask the question. Ask and you will receive. And suddenly you've asked the question, and here's the patience. The patience comes in to then wait for the answer. The mind is kicking in, saying, I want the answer right now, and it goes into the doing, leaning in mode. The answer isn't coming. So this is where the laying back and receiving and surrendering really is important, because what happens is you ask the question and you just simply close your eyes, because this allows you to sort of disengage in the outside world, allows you to go more inside, And you ask the question, what is this? And you just wait, you just really surrender to it. And the first thing that pops up into your mind, follow that. It might be a word, whatever the word is, follow that. What does this word mean? And just keep following. So, and something else comes up, and what does that mean? And just keep following up, keep following up. It's guiding you somewhere, step by step. The process will get quicker. The invitation here is to really lay back, surrender in, and just allow the information to come to you. What is the mist? What is the color blue? What if I knew what it was? What if I knew that I knew what the color blue was, or what this mist means right now? Ask the question and wait, lay back into it, receive. Ask the question and wait, and just keep doing that. And you'll be surprised at what information can come up. It may seem like it's taking like a little bit longer, but what comes through can potentially save you perhaps days, weeks, and months, in terms of perhaps making a decision in your life, a career decision, a relationship decision, and instead of just going into the doing energy of trying to figure out what to do, by going into using your intuition and tapping into your intuition and being patient with it and asking the right questions. What does this mean? What does that image mean that I keep seeing? What does this word mean that I keep hearing? What is this feeling that I keep feeling? I think about this job interview or this new job that I want to apply for, and I keep feeling this anxiety. So rather than shrug off the anxiety, what is the anxiety? Go into the feeling. So you're basically energetically tuning in to feelings that are going on within yourself. This is all about awakening. And in order for our species to grow and evolve, we really do need to awaken ourselves to have a deeper understanding of our own inner dialogue. What's going on when we think about that new career move and suddenly a feeling of anxiety comes up? Rather than shrug it off, and not think about it, go into it. Because by going into it, you'll start understanding what the anxiety is or what it's linked to. Perhaps it's linked to a fear of that particular career move, because that particular career move will be taking you away from your home, which will be taking you away from perhaps family and friends, and you'd feel alone. And you don't want to feel alone, because alone may be a childhood wound for you, and alone may trigger some pain and sadness that links to other parts of your life. So there may be things going on when you think about career move or relationships or other decisions that you need to make, and a feeling comes up. It's very important to follow the feeling. So intuitively follow the feeling and allow the feeling to take you onto a timeline, or take you into a journey into the past, or into a place where a wound perhaps was activated somewhere along the line. So what I'm saying here is that intuition can guide you into so many different realms. It can guide you into a place of following a particular feeling or particular word or particular sort of image, and by following it, you can get to some core level belief or wound that perhaps is holding you back. This can save you years of endless yo-yoing in circles of, going to go for this career move? No, I'm not. Oh, it's being given to somebody else. And then here we go, I'm going to wait again. And then another one, oh, no, I'll come back again. There's this cycle going on. And somewhere in that cycle is this wound that needs to be gone through and sort of realized and awoken and broken through. But no, it's being skimmed and skipped over. And then no, and then here's a cycle that keeps going on. So intuition is a highly important tool. And we all possess the ability to use our intuition. I was using my own from a very early age, in terms of seeing energy, seeing energy fields. And in my teens, I pursued studying a lot more. In my 20s, I got involved much more with mediums and people that would channel. In my 30s, I started studying a lot to do with personal development, both on the mainstream side of things, and then also on the energetic healing sides of things. So my journey with intuition and seeing or feeling or sensing energy has been lifelong, and it's a beautiful thing to now be able to use it and share it with people. So not only use it to help people through coaching my intuitive coaching programs, but also with being able to share it with people through my Spiritual Awakening Academy. And this is such a beautiful thing because it's, as I said before, it's a very important part of our life is to awaken. And to awaken is to know ourselves. And knowing ourselves requires going in much deeper than our usual sort of surface level self, and going in to find out what's going on within us. And also, not only what's going on within us, but also being able to interpret what's going on the outside world as well, and how this is benefiting us, how is it not benefiting us. There's always going to be a gain in everything that's going on for us. Even if something is happening in our lives and it's uncomfortable, you'll actually find a gain in there. There's a reason that you're experiencing that particular thing right now. So intuition is as a tool, is something that we are born with. And like I said at the beginning of the call, if you have any questions, please write them down in the message feed. I'm really happy to answer any messages that you have, any questions that you have in regards to intuition and using it either for yourself or for others, or for finding out particular things about yourself or the future. So carrying on and moving forward into the intuitive realm and how it can benefit you. Using your intuitive centers as one entity, being so present, being in such a present place that you are actively using all your intuitive centers at once, is a phenomenal thing. You are able to really feel energy around you. This can be in nature, or this could be with perhaps the relationship that you're in, or the partner that you're with. Being able to intuitively perceive or receive or feel somebody is an amazing thing. It's so much deeper than perhaps what you see of the person, but you're not only feeling the person, but you're observing their energy in such a deep way. I remember in some workshops that I've done in the past, where I've met my students and I've held their hand or held their arm, and I've gone into an intuitive place myself. Just the touch, being able to sort of hold someone's hand, so much information, it's like an information highway opens up, and you can feel their life or see their life or hear. Suddenly intuition is allowing you to really pick up a lot of information that you would not have known. So you begin getting to know somebody even deeper just by being in their energy field, but more importantly, being awake yourself and being in their energy field. This is a whole different thing. By you being awake intuitively, you're able to be present even more, because you're having a much deeper understanding of the, perhaps say, for example, in this example, of the person who's sitting in front of you. The experience you're having is that there is a soul in front of you, that there is an energy, an essence to this person, that behind their persona, behind their identity, their egoic astronaut suit that they're wearing, there is a soul and an essence of light sitting in front. And this is a beautiful thing to practice, and this sort of verges off into the sort of tantric world as well. And this is also in one of the modules in my Spiritual Awakening Academy, the tantric module, also gives an in-depth understanding of being very present with your own soul and the soul of another, and also experiencing their essence and experiencing yourself in your own essence. Ultimately, it is a very powerful tool, a very powerful experience, because if you look at most of the challenges that we have, they are challenges because we have come away from who we are. We have suddenly labeled ourselves as less than, unworthy, undeserving, not good enough, or unloved, or abandoned, or rejected. Whatever the flavor of this connection has been perceived, there is a perception that we are, in essence, disconnected in this moment. The tantric practice, or the energetic practice of experiencing yourself as essence, experiencing yourself as energy, as a soul as well, this has a profound knock-on, a ripple effect to anything that you've got going on in your mind that makes you think that you're less than. Because what's happening is, when you're present with yourself and you're really igniting that connection with your soul and your essence, that true source, authentic truth of yourself, what happens is that that's such a huge expansion of light that ignites within you when you have that experience, that it has the ability to obliterate, dissolve lesser thoughts and beliefs or programs about yourself that make you feel less than, unworthy, undeserving, rejected, not loved. These beliefs can dissolve just by the fact that you have sat with yourself, intuitively gone into yourself, really delved into the heart center, into the soul of your being, into the essence, the source of your being, and suddenly you've gone into this intuitive journey all the way through yourself, and suddenly you're in the presence of source. You are in the presence. You're actually in the presence, and you've become the presence. This is something that I teach in my Source Awakening courses, which is also actually the first module of my Awakening, Spiritual Awakening Academy. Source Awakening actually teaches you this process of going into the heart center. This isn't the heart chakra. This is the sacred heart center. It's just a different thing. It's a gateway to the soul, which is a gateway to the source of your being. When you're in this place, you begin recognizing your magnificence. You begin recognizing magnificence already within you. And when this consciousness ignites within you, this reawakening, this reconnection with this pure essence of who you are, when you become aware of that, and that's awoken, that source awakens within you, it has the ability to neutralize and dissolve negative belief programs, negative emotional programs stored within you. And so intuition plays a huge part in this as well, because you're becoming more aware. You're going on an inner journey inside rather than an outside journey where you're seeking help or guidance outside and not going in to do the inner guidance work, the inner work that really is important, because it holds all the structures together. So with opening up your intuitive centers, the one thing that you can do here is an exercise that I'd like to share with you. The energy fields of nature are phenomenal. They're vibrant. One of the things Buddha was meant to have said is that when he became enlightened, he realized that everything was already enlightened in the first place. It's just that he wasn't, but everything is. When you tune in to the energy fields of nature, it is so vibrant, it is so alive, that it's hard not to miss what you're tuning into. This is something that I used to teach one-day workshops for children, and I'd guide children into seeing or feeling or reading auras, through different materials, whether it's plants or flowers or crystals and rocks, or we'd bring a tortoise, a pet in, an animal in, so the kids could actually read the energies or see or perceive or scan the energies. And it was a beautiful thing because children are so awake and so aware already as they are. It was beautiful to see how they're all seeing the same colors surrounding the plant, or the same colors surrounding the animal that we brought in. And it really is a beautiful thing to be able to scan. So a practice and an exercise I'd like to give to you is that if you are near nature or around nature, or you have trees nearby or plants in your house, or if you have a park nearby, or even better, a forest, or if you have, or if you're very blessed and have been living in countries like I have, and Bali has a very tropical climate and beautiful green, like blanket of plants and rice fields, and it's so vibrant. So if you're blessed to be near a forest or a rainforest, or even if you have plants indoors, an exercise would be great to start with this. The reason why is sometimes if you start using your intuition and you're using it with another human being, you've got the whole them being human and interacting and having an expectation thing going on as well. And then you've got to have an expectation of yourself, and then perhaps it's not coming as fast as you want it to be. Either the information's not coming, and then there's all these other things going on. Whereas with a plant, you can just be. Plant's not going to give you any judgment that you haven't been able to scan it quick enough. These beautiful enlightened beings, you've got to remember, a plant or a tree doesn't wake up each day needing to change job, or have plastic surgery, or want to move somewhere, or not give fruit anymore. It just is. It's a being. It's an energy being which is totally in service. It's just there, and it's just really there. And so it's a very simple and powerful thing for you to do, would be to sit in front of a plant or a tree, and just move your energy, shift your energy into your heart center. Just really shift it into the heart center, and just expand your being from the heart center. Just imagine you're expanding yourself, and imagine that energy of yourself is expanding out and out and out, until you can imagine or feel or see or sense that your energy field is actually moving itself towards the tree. And as it does, as your energy field, which is you, which is an extension of you, which is an aspect of you, your energy field moving outwards is an aspect of you. It's like a fine-tuned, subtle layer of your skin is moving outwards energetically. And as it does, it's going to be moving towards and then through the energy field of a tree or a plant, whatever it is you're sitting in front of. So suddenly there's a collision or a meeting. Rather than call it a collision, there is a meeting that's happening, a connection that's suddenly on an energetic level. You are becoming connected with the plant or the tree, and the plant and tree is being connected with you. So suddenly there's this information flow that's happening, an information exchange is happening between you and the plant or the tree. So why I'm sharing with you about the exercise, about the tuning in or igniting your intuition, and why we're using it with a tree or a plant, is like I said, they are just in a pure state and they're vibrating, so it's much easier for you to be able to go in, expand in, breathe in deep, exhale, and just begin expanding outwards until you feel this tree, or the tree starts feeling you. There's something that happens, a subtle connection that happens. And like I said before, they're advanced tools that you can access into. And this is something I'm teaching on my academy module, the Intuitive Energy Anatomy. But this is something you can do, in your own time, just connecting with a plant, connecting with a tree, and just becoming at ease with that, and just keep doing that until you feel the tree, or you feel the plant, or you can see some energies moving, in its in its structure, or you can even hear the tree. And once you get used to doing this, what may happen is, even if you are a practitioner of healing therapy, I really do advise to go back to basics every now and again, just to get that understanding of sort of not needing to perform, not needing to be helping someone or guiding someone because they're paying for your time and you've just got to deliver. It brings a whole different twist to using your intuition. So go back to basics and connect with a tree or an inanimate object. Connect with a rock, a crystal. Just connect with something where you can feel their energy field. Their energy field is interacting with yours, and now there's conversations going on. And these conversations are energy. And like I said before, the energy that you feel or see or hear that comes in, quite often we'll feel something or see something or hear something and just think, oh, that's great, but I don't know what it is, I'll move on. But you just got to stop yourself there. And in that moment that you felt that energy or heard that or saw that energy, ask, what is it? And if I don't know, what if I did know? What if I knew that I knew what that energy looks like, or what it is, and what it sounds like, and what it means? And just keep asking the question until the answers are coming through. So it's a very important part of the intuitive journey, is to continue to ask questions, and this will help you expand your abilities to see, feel, and hear, and sort of sense and have this knowing intuitively. Now, quite often we in our lives come across situations where we are needing to make a decision. And this may be in work, this may be in your career or your relationships, or maybe even home environment where you need to be moving or leaving country or changing careers, whatever it is. Uh, what will happen is you start looking for that sign that says that you're making the right decision. So we're actively seeking intuition already. We're actively seeking a higher power or a higher wisdom to come through, so that we can feel it and know this is a decision I need to make, and I need to take steps towards this now, versus just not knowing, which will keep you stagnant, which will keep you exactly where you are. And you have an inability to move forward because you can't trust that you're making the right decision. So what we are all searching for is a higher wisdom, this inner knowing that, yes, I'm making a decision. Yes, it feels like it's the right one. Yes, I feel I can trust this. And boom, you make the decision, and there you go. And that decision was predominantly based on intuition. So going back to what I said originally at the beginning of the call, it's hugely important to flex the trust muscle, like to really trust, to be able to trust, because by trusting, you're going to be able to make decisions quicker because you're trusting your intuition. And by making decisions quicker, the life struggles or the blocks that you find yourselves in, where you're suddenly feeling stagnant and you can't move forward, those moments or those times become fewer and fewer, and the time length becomes shorter and shorter, because you're able to start making decisions quicker, which means that you're trusting yourself. So I'd just like to say that so I've got a lovely question here that I would just like to read out to you. Hi Errol, this is from Natalia. I feel highly intuitive, but sometimes I found it difficult to distinguish if it's soul information, that connection you're talking about, or it's my mind playing a trick. How do I recognize what's real or mind provoked? And what suggestions do you have to clarify that sort of confusion? This is beautiful. I love this question. So there is a difference between receiving information from a soul level and receiving information from a mind level. The mind works in dualistic ways. There's a good, there's a bad. There's the rights and wrongs. It's all completely dualistic. Whereas the soul is a much higher neutral energy, and it comes in with a feeling. It actually brings a feeling in. It's a solid feeling. When you tune into information that's coming in from the soul, it's going to feel different, or you're going to sense it different than information coming from the mind. It's quite light and quite sharp and quite fast. You've got to make a decision. It's fast. You've got to do this because this is going to happen. This is quite dualistic, and it's fast. It's airy. That airness about it, that mindness about it, is quick and fast. Whereas the information coming from the soul feels more solid. It feels like it's coming from, or you can sense that it's coming from somewhere so deep within that you have this inner knowing. And it's so different to the mind, which is light and airy and fast and sharp, and this is wrong, this is right, you got to do this because if you don't do this, and there's all these stories attached to it, like so many stories attached to it, and they're quite specific as well. Whereas quite often the soul may deliver a message to you or information to you in the form of perhaps one feeling or one word. It just comes in, boom, and there's this feeling of, wow, where did this come from? And so you sit and lay back into it and let it come through, because something from your soul is coming through. You still don't know exactly what it is. What it's doing is begging. I won't say that's the right word, begging. It's inviting you in. It's not going to give you all the information right there all at once. It's inviting you in to go in. What it's doing is pulling you in slowly. So with your curiosity, you may get a feeling come through or a sensation come through. And with your curiosity, you just allow that to come through and sit with it and follow it in, follow it in. It's inviting you to go in. It may seem slower, but it's inviting you to go in. And it's something that's very much more solid there, rather than the airy, fast, this is coming through and I think I need to do this, because of that. There's all these stories and movies going on up here. There's very different energy to the soul, just giving you one thing to think about, or one feeling to feel about, or one sensation. It's inviting you in to then leads on to another sensation and another sensation. And it's building here. It's building a very similar story that was going on in the mind really, really fast, but it's building it by pulling you inwards and showing you something. So it's allowing you to make decisions based on the feeling and the inner knowing that's going on within you, rather than the fear-based, if I don't do this, this is going to happen, but if I do this, this is going to happen, so I need to do this, and I think this is what it's going to be. Let me ask my soul. Oh, I'm not in the doing, I'm not in the being mode, I'm still in the doing mode, so my soul isn't going to really be speaking to me in a way that I can hear properly or feel or sense, because I'm in this doing mode, this fast mode. So the difference between the soul and the mind level information that comes through, as I said, is the mind is dualistic, fear-based, and it's very sharp and quick and airy and full of movies. Whereas the soul is more solid, and it feels like there's this inner knowing. It's like coming home, this feeling of being at home, but this feeling of familiarity in terms of when the message comes through or answer comes through or there's wisdom coming through. There's a sense of familiarity with the soul, and a sense of familiarity of where that information is coming from and how it's coming through, where you feel it perhaps in your heart center, where you feel it in your stomach. And that feeling there is more solid. It may not come through all in one day or all in one night, whereas the mind would like to deliver sentences and paragraphs on a whole chapter there and then. Whereas the soul, it may take much longer. It may be over a few hours, it may be little drops over a few days or a few weeks, but it's inviting you in so that you can go in to connect with your soul rather than just give you the answer there and then, there it is. Because where's the fun in that? The adventure is you reconnecting with your soul and having your soul direct your vehicle to achieve what it is to live and to sort of have its purpose. This is also another area within the Spiritual Awakening Academy. This is in the soul coaching module that we have, where we focus on purpose, finding your purpose, aligning yourself to your purpose, and having an understanding of how to interpret life level situations that are going on for you in different areas of your life. Life level situations can actually allow you to understand what you may need to do, or what talents you may need to use, what fears or barriers you may need to overcome in order to follow your purpose, or to understand your purpose, or to access your purpose here on earth. So I hope this has answered in some ways your question. To summarize, it's two different frequencies. Another way to look at this before I move on, there's another question. Just to add one thing. If you're a visual person, you can visualize things. Imagine an old radio, and there are these little circular knobs that you turn, little things that you turn to get to the radio station. So here's the radio station at 110, and then here's the volume, and all these other things on there. AM, FM. Back in the days, there were radio stations with little dials on them. Use your imagination to visualize yourself fine-tuning your intuition coming in from certain places, allowing your intuition to come in perhaps from a soul. So just imagine that you're using a radio to tune in to perhaps mind or other realms that you want to tune into: nature, angelic realm, the ascended master realm, the Akashic records, past lives. There's so many different things you can sort of tune into. A person's sort of energy field, or past stories or movies that are going on for people. If you can visualize like a radio dial and start, have an intention to have this particular dial focus on soul, then just use the dial just to go really gently back and forth until you creative with how you're receiving information. Be very creative. I think intuition loves creativity. It loves just being free and being able to receive in so many different ways. Somebody gave me a intuitive reading once, a very dear person, many years ago, and she hesitated at first to share the information that she picked up. She sat down in front of me and she said, "Can I give you a reading?" "Yeah, sure." So she was silent for a while, and I was wondering, maybe there's pressure here because I'm a teacher, and I'm using my intuition, and I teach this, and here she is going to be doing a scan on me. And she didn't say what she picked up on at first. And finally she said, "Okay, look, it might seem a bit silly, but I'm picking up broccoli." I said, "What? Broccoli?" The green vegetable broccoli. And I just looked at her, and because that very day I was actually thinking of going on a green juice detox, and I was actually thinking of what are the vegetables, kale, spinach, and broccoli kept coming to my mind that day, like a lot. But I didn't action it. I didn't actually action going on this green detox. I was just thinking about it, and broccoli was on my mind. So here's this amazing being scanning me, and almost afraid to reveal what she's scanning, because the fear is that she, might sound stupid or silly, because out of all the things that possibly could be shown to her was an image of broccoli. However, that meant the world to me, because that actually confirmed exactly what I was thinking that day, that I should go on a cleanse, that I should go on sort of like this green juice cleanse or this veggie cleanse. So it's perfect, absolutely perfect. So why I'm sharing this with you is it's important to understand that whatever comes up, whatever information comes through, just say it. Whatever you see or perceive or feel or sense, just let it out. Because if you're afraid to let it out or express it, it's going to start building up into a form of fear or self-doubt about being able to intuitively tune into people or yourself. And once you get this building up and stacking up within you, what's going to happen is it's going to prevent you from actually using your intuition deeper, because you have a sense of mistrust or a feeling that what you're saying isn't perhaps useful for the other person, or all these fears, embarrassment, or shame, or that you're not saying the right thing. So it's important to express it, just like learning a new language. When I was 10 years old and I was learning a new language, it was quite embarrassing to speak words that I had no idea what I was saying. I could read, but I didn't know what they were. Was I saying them wrong? And when I was trying to express myself in this new language, people would laugh, and I'd have to laugh as well, because I was saying things in a funny way. But if I had clammed up and just sort of just not spoke, I would never have learned the language. I would never have learned. So it's the same thing. When you're using your intuition and something comes up, just express it. And once you express it, you're opening up a channel, and you're allowing the channel to open and just express itself. However, if we're feeling that we're not good enough, or that we're not good, we don't know what it is, I just see some mist, I have no idea what the mist is, oh, I'm not good at this isn't working, you're closing that channel in, because what's happening is you're putting constructs in that channel that's open, but suddenly you're putting constructs in it that in your mind will begin squeezing it, so that hardly any information will come through, because you're going to be second guessing yourself. And this actually reflects into second guessing yourself in life, self-doubt and mistrust. So without further ado, it's an hour has gone by so quickly. I hope that I've been able to share some insights into intuition and how to expand intuition, the importance of intuition. Like I've mentioned before, intuition is a big subject in my Spiritual Awakening Academy diploma course. It's a 14-module course, and we go over intuition, I would say, in absolutely every single module, because it's something that gives us the bridge between this reality and into the other realm. And the other realm, when we work with the other realm, this is the subconscious realm, or the shadow realm, or the realm of spirits, or the realm of energy, the realm of the frequency where beliefs and thoughts are at, or the frequency where the emotional patterns are at. It's important to be able to use the tools to tune in to these areas, because these are the areas that will allow us to rearrange the dialogue or the structure that's going on within us. And once we do that, we're actually rearranging the structure of our outside worlds, which follows suit. Change yourself inside, life and your world experience changes on the outside. So the intuition is a very strong, powerful arena. And like I said, in my Spiritual Awakening Academy, it's a very important aspect of it, to say the least. So without further ado, it's been an amazing 1 hour. I hope I've been able to share some great insights, and I really look forward to speaking to you all again. If you're interested in intuition and expanding your intuition, then my academy, Spiritual Awakening Academy, enrollment is open by application only. I'm taking a dedicated group together through the 14 modules starting from August the 1st. And so if you feel that this is something for you, then I'm very happy to speak with you about this. So until then, have an amazing day, afternoon, or evening, and I look forward to seeing you in next episode of Errol TV. Until then, take care.